Welcome back. You're watching Ayubowan Sri Lanka and we are with Shaleeka Abeygunasekara, the Director Communication of the Sri Lanka Girl Guides Association. We just touched upon how the movement of guiding began, how it began in the world and who introduced that to us, and also how and when Sri Lanka became part and parcel of the guiding movement, and most importantly what it means to be a guide, and a message to the parents and the young students out there who are watching it to understand the importance that guiding can bring to life. So as Shaleeka said, once a guide, always a guide. So continuing from there, we know that guides are always they always do exciting events, like there's the campery where you have the camps and they do like hiking and so many things.
Yes.
So can you elaborate on this exciting adventurous experience they engage in?
Right. Well, I mean, we do. I mean, girls love. I mean, love being outdoors. They love adventurous stuff. So, I mean, we do. I mean, a lot of our program, like I said, our educational program is very much a non-formal one. So, and so what I mean, how we tend to teach is through like by setting the girls, fun, exciting, and adventurous challenges. I mean, the younger ones, it's not quite as adventurous as the older ones, but certainly, like by taking them on hikes, taking them on camps, and those alone, really help. We also have other programs like an adventure for the guides. We have like an adventure sports festival annually, where we team up with the commando regiment, and they actually, it's hugely popular. I mean, where they set up, all these like outdoor challenges for them, like that the commandos actually do. The commandos actually set it up for them, and like commando nets where they have to crawl through things and like climb up, sort of rope ladders, and sort of do the same things that the commandos do. And the commandos run that day for us, and they take us through. They take the guides who turn up through that process and show them how each one is done, and there are a whole set of activities that they then have to, the guides are then challenged to actually go and test their skills and do. I mean, that's another thing that we focus on, which is life skills training.
So you put them really out there.
We put them out there and they love it, and and that is, and while we're they're having fun, they learn at the same time.
This campfire, it's a significant thing, right? What is it all about?
I mean, campfires traditionally we have at the end of a camp. During a typical camp, I mean the length of it can vary, but a typical average camp would be like would be for about 3 nights, and usually the night before we we close camp, we usually have a campfire. The parents are invited as well to join in, and they just have a great time, sitting around and sitting around singing songs, maybe doing a few skits, and it's good, wholesome fun. For them, they make friends, because when you go on camp, it's quite challenging on one side, because you've got to do you're living in the rough, you're sleeping under canvas, it rains, there might be a hole in the tent, so they wake up at 2 in the morning, and it's pouring, they might have to sit and patch things up, and but that's all part of the fun as well. It's an experience, and living together in those conditions, working together,
team spirit, and
they learn teamwork, and then they bond, and they really get into it.
It's an experience in itself.
It's an experience in itself, and you see the difference, when after you've taken, it's a huge experience for, especially for a guide who's going for the first time. They're a little bit homesick as well sometimes, but that's just like the first day when the parents first sort of say goodbye to them, kind of thing. That first night might be tough. After that,
they just get used to it, and they don't want to leave the camp.
No, we always have a problem getting rid of them at the end of it.
So Shaleeka, I wanted to ask you about the Sri Lanka Girl Guides Association itself. Now, we've just discussed about being a guide and what it means to be a guide, and the excitement that comes with the whole package. Now, when you look at the Sri Lankan Girl Guides Association, what does it stand for, and what activities does the Guide Association carry out?
Right. I mean, essentially what the association stands for is the empowerment of girls and young women. I mean, that is what we stand for in a nutshell. But there are various projects that we have done over the years in that line, you know, to empower girls and young women. Sometimes we've also extended it to, you know, to the elderly as well. And I mean, we believe that community development should be a major part of the programs as well. So we've always had almost from inception. I mean back in 1938 we started a branch for at that time it was called the branch for the handicapped, you know, for the less abled. I mean, now it's called, we still have it, it's called the branch for the differently abled, and we have guiding in several schools like the hearing, the deaf and blind school in Ratmalana, Chitralane school for the special child, the Amina Metmihira. So we have that's still continuing. We have and guiding actually makes a difference to the children, you know. We also have I mean, and what we try to get out of it is actually integrating the differently abled into normal society. So, you know, we have our programs adjusted accordingly. That is one so, you know, and that was, you know, so that is coming from like way back in 1938. Then, you know, then we also took a lot of it. It was started actually by I'm sure you're familiar with the name Mrs. Sita Rajasurya, who was she passed away sadly last year. At the age of 92, but she was a very active chief commissioner and a president of the association, and under her guidance, really, you know, we really took guiding to the rural areas. That's how we started going into the rural areas with her. We also took them took guiding to a lot of sort of minority groups, as it were. Like we took it into like the prisons, and we went into like Rodia communities in like Kantolua. Some of that work was done with other organizations as well, like the Sarvodaya movement. So, you know, I mean, and then, you know, we started, I mean, we have a projects branch, and, you know, that started getting active, which was formed round about in the 1970s, and then, you know, we started, you know, a lot of project work, community development. We started with like things like family life and community development. That was actually a 5-year project where, you know, we went in, tried and developed communities, you know, built them, educated them on, you know, sort of hygiene, built water wells, latrines, taught them about, you know, sort of water and sanitation. You know, and there too, you know, we talk of this empowerment of women. I mean, something under that same banner, if you like, a couple of things that we did. One was this creation of this village called Baladakshika Gama, where we built 10 houses. And the houses were given to families where the woman was the main breadwinner. And in the center of that village, we built a community. We had a community hall where we sort of taught the women. You know, we supported them with, like, gave them life skills training. You know, taught them how to helped them to become more self-sufficient by, you know, learning various skills and things like that. I mean, today Baladakshika Gama sort of no longer really exists anymore.
Where was it located?
It was started at Kadawata, Ganemulla, Kandaliya Depaluwa Ganemulla Kadawata. But that community hall there has actually now turned into a national training center.
Okay, but now you said it doesn't exist
Exists in a sense because the village is now self-sufficient. So that was it. That was our involvement. I mean, likewise.
So what you said is you got it started.
We got it started. We got them going, and now those families, you know, they live there. You know, I mean, but Baladakshika Gama as a village that, you know, we were sort of part of is no longer there. Although the houses are still very much there. The families are there.